I am here with Linda Cadott of Courtesy Cab here in Superior, Wisconsin. Linda, we really appreciate your business, being a customer of ours. If you could briefly just give us a little background on the company.
The company was started in 2000 by three gentlemen, and myself and two other people bought the company in 2001. We started with 3 taxis, and we were up to 6 taxis until the economy went a little bit south about a year and a half ago, but we run a fleet of 4 taxis here in Superior, and we're lucky enough to be using AMSOIL products in them.
An interesting story as to how you came to know about our products, and it really goes back to AMSOIL University a few years ago when a lot of our dealers were actually utilizing your cabs and getting their name out to you, correct?
Correct. It was in 2006 during the AMSOIL University. A lot of the salesmen were using the taxis after the university hours to go out and have a drink or go to see some sightseeing. And they're exquisite salespeople, and they approached each and every one of our drivers, giving them business cards, talking about AMSOIL, and giving them packets of information. And at the end of the university session, I had quite a stack of business cards and a lot of information. And my business partner at the time and I talked about it, but we were a little skeptical. We all know that AMSOIL costs more than regular motor oil, and we were just pinching our pennies and trying to expand our fleet at that time, and we were kind of nervous about trying it. But then one of the representatives from the local office here, the head office, came and visited us and sold us on using AMSOIL and being a test fleet for them. We were a little nervous because, as you know, Steve, there's no such thing as a free lunch. But at the time, we didn't realize that we would provide them with some valuable information too. So we did come on to the AMSOIL test program, and we are very glad that we did.
Talk a little bit about the testing, the protocol, what went into it. You said, of course, that you were initially skeptical, so obviously you had your eyes open to the benefits of a synthetic, but like you say, it was probably a tough decision at first.
It was. We were a little nervous about testing new products for AMSOIL too. But Darren Wallace is the representative that we work with, and he does an excellent job of providing us data and giving us the confidence to go ahead with the program. We've been very successful. We have improved our performance, our engine performance dramatically by using AMSOIL. What we do to our vehicles is very difficult for the vehicle. We run about a 1/4 idle time and about 3/4 town driving, all stop and go, in all kinds of weather. And there are times that our engines aren't shut off for 48 hours at a time, and that's when it's 20 below or 90 above. We do difficult things to vehicles. But we have had excellent results with AMSOIL. We have only had to have one engine partially rebuilt during these 4 years, and that was probably due to not such a good engine, not due to AMSOIL product.
You had mentioned that you initially had a petroleum product in there. You were changing oil probably every 2,000 miles. What did AMSOIL, with the oil analysis and the program, the testing program, allow you to extend your drain interval to?
Yes, even as a regular non-taxi company, we always change our oil about 3,000 miles. Because of the hardware that goes into our engines, we were changing it every 2,000 miles. That's an amazing maintenance factor right there, to not have to pull these vehicles off the road and have the maintenance done on them and be paying for the maintenance man to do the maintenance is a huge cost savings. They tell us when to change our oil, and there have been times that we have not changed our oil for 22,000 miles. And that's, even at that time, it wasn't in any, our engines certainly weren't in any danger. So that's just an amazing thing as far as I'm considered.
Certainly benefits that are going to improve your company's bottom line. We don't have to get specific, but just the fact that you kind of touched on it. Your maintenance schedule has been stretched out. There's a lot less downtime for your vehicles, and I would imagine the vehicles are actually lasting longer and getting better protection as well.
Oh yes. We're shooting for 300,000 miles per vehicle, but you have to bear in mind, Steve, that we buy rental fleet returns with about 25,000 miles on them. But we put between 100 and 125,000 miles per year on these vehicles. So at the end of 2 years, we have a vehicle with upwards of 250 to 275,000 very hard miles on them. At that point, we have to analyze the vehicle and see what we need to put in it to keep it on the road. And a lot of times it's certainly not the engines or the transmissions, that they're in good working order, but if we have to put a lot of money into front ends and rack and pinions and so forth and so on, it's just not worth it. So we do turn them over. We are hoping to get 300,000 miles on one. My maintenance man, Todd, and Darren and I would all like to say we hit this vehicle hard for 2.5 years and got 300,000 miles on it. We're getting close. We just turned one over and it had 276,000 on it. So we're real proud of that. And the engines were running just dandy.
Outstanding. The products, the AMSOIL products that you use, it's not just oil and filters. You also are using our transmission fluid and anything else?
Yes, it's an injector cleaner that we put in every 4,000 miles, which in our world is every 2 weeks. We're provided with a can of that, and since we have started using that, we have had absolutely no injector problems. Before that, we were using an over-the-market or over-the-counter product, not very successfully. We still often had codes coming up, engine codes coming up with misfire injectors. We had to have a couple of them have professional injector cleaning done on them. And since we've been using the AMSOIL PI, we have no problems with injectors for 2 years. And I love it.
If our dealers were to approach a like company like this, a small taxi fleet or maybe a delivery fleet with a few vehicles, what are some of the questions that you think, from your perspective, they should be asking? What are the things that are going to get your attention as a potential consumer of our product?
Well, what got my attention was the savings in maintenance costs. That was the first thing that got my attention. You can save 50 to 75% as far as I'm considered on your maintenance costs. Maintenance men don't come cheap nowadays. And the savings that you're going to pay out in wages is going to be tremendous, and they need to go on that aspect. But I think the best thing they need to promote is the fact that the AMSOIL product enhances the engine and the transmission performance. The vehicles run better and last longer, especially in the cold weather areas. They start wonderfully. When it's 20 below, we have a lot of foul weather friends that we pick up because their vehicles don't have AMSOIL in them and don't start so well.
Well, Linda, on behalf of AMSOIL, we want to thank you for being a loyal customer of ours, and we're certainly glad that some of our dealers were in your cabs and gave you their business cards so that you became aware of our product. And once again, thank you for providing us with the data, and we hope that we're doing well by you as well.
Well, I thank you. I'm grateful to AMSOIL for all they've done to us, and when the test program comes to an end, we will still be using AMSOIL. I'm a firm believer in AMSOIL, and these salesmen need to get out there and tell the world.